Spears Friends, get ready because this is a bombshell. What's happening at Halas Hall is so explosive that I had to check it 3 times. You won't believe what could change the future of our franchise. First, an offensive coordinator working magic in Baltimore might be packing his bags for Chicago. This Illinois genius has his current QB playing like an MVP, and the most incredible thing is his connection to our city. The question isn't if he can develop our future QB, but how much he could elevate them. Second, T here is a defensive monster at Penn State, making all NFL scouts shake. This linebacker is pure dynamite. Even injured, he's dominating like the next monster of the Midway. The numbers he's putting up are so ridiculous that Ryan Poles might do something unthinkable to get him. Third, and this is going to hurt, Bears family. Remember that trade we made last year? Well, that linebacker we let go just earned an honor that makes this decision even more painful. The numbers don't lie, and this story could be the worst nightmare for our management. Don't you dare close this video. If you are a true Bears fan, you need to know these details that could change everything. Give it a like, subscribe, and turn on the bell because this is just the beginning. The revolution in Chicago is about to start, and you can't miss it. Todd Monken? Seriously? Let me tell you something, and listen up. This man could be the diamond in the rough that no one saw coming. And do you know why I am saying this? Because while everyone is obsessed with popular names, Monken is quietly building an impressive case. Look, I ask you, what has this man done with Lamar Jackson in Baltimore? Magic! The guy has Jackson playing like an MVP again. And do you know what's most interesting? He's from Wheaton, Illinois. Yes, folks, a son of Chicago who could be coming home. And let me tell you something else. This isn't a coincidence, it's destiny. But let me be clear here, it's not just because he's local that we're talking about him. This man has an impressive result. Since 1989, he's been in the game, going through Jacksonville, Tampa Bay, Georgia, and do you know what I see? Pure experience. We're talking about over 30 years of football knowledge. 30 years! Now, some will say, but Steven, he's almost 60 and has never been a head coach. Stop right there. Doesn't Pete Carroll have more than 70? And look at him. He has the energy of a 30-year-old. Monken is the same. He has that spark, that je ne sais quoi that we need. And I'll tell you something else. Sometimes experience is worth more than you. But here is what's really important, and I want you to pay close attention. Caleb Williams. This whole search process should revolve around him. And who better to develop a talented quarterback than someone who has done wonders with Lamar Jackson? I ask you, isn't this exactly what we need? And let's talk about his work in Baltimore, because this is crucial. He has transformed that offense. Not only has he improved Jackson, but he has created a system that maximizes the strengths of each player. Isn't that precisely what we need in Chicago? Absolutely. I tell you this, Monken could be exactly what the Bears need. A guy with offensive experience, who knows Chicago, who has worked with elite quarterbacks, and who has the energy to transform this franchise. And not only that, he has that special touch to develop young talent. And do you know what else impresses me? His versatility. He has worked in the NFL, in college, with different systems and different types of quarterbacks. That adaptability is pure gold in today's NFL. We're not talking about a one-dimensional coach. We're talking about someone who can evolve and adapt. I'll tell you something else. Bill Zimmerman, one of the most respected analysts, believes Monken is going to knock out in his interview. And I, personally, think he's right. This man has the charisma, the experience, and the knowledge to impress any management. And here are some questions for you to think about. Wouldn't it be fascinating to see what Monken could do with a talent like Caleb Williams? Isn't he exactly the kind of offensive mind we need to take the Bears to the next level? Abdul Carter? Let me tell you something about this kid. What we saw in the Orange Bowl wasn't just a game, it was a declaration of war. And I ask you, when was the last time we saw someone dominate like that with an injured shoulder? 5 tackles, 1 sack, and 2 tackles for loss. And do you know what's most impressive? He did it while injured. This isn't just any player, folks. We're talking about a monster, a true heir to the monsters of the Midway. Look me in the eyes when I say this. 68 total tackles, 12 sacks, and 24 tackles for loss in his last season at Penn State. Do you know what those numbers mean? It's pure domination. And I ask you, isn't this exactly what we need in Chicago? Now, some will say, but Steven, is it worth trading up in the draft for him? Absolutely! Ryan Poles has already shown us that he's not afraid to make bold moves. Remember what we did to get Caleb Williams? Well, this could be just as important. And let me tell you something else. This kid isn't just stats. What we saw in the college playoffs was special. 2 sacks, 4 tackles for loss, and 8 tackles in 3 postseason games. Do you know what that means? That he shines when it matters most? Bears fans are crying out for him, and I agree! Imagine this. Caleb Williams leading the offense and Abdul Carter terrorizing quarterbacks on defense. We'd be talking about a new golden era in Chicago. And here is the most important part. Ryan Poles has already shown that he knows how to build around a franchise quarterback. Why not do the same on defense? Carter could be that game-changing player, that difference maker we need to be feared again. I'll tell you something else. In today's NFL, you need elite pass rushers to compete. And do you know what? Carter has all the potential to be one of the best. His combination of speed, power, and technique is unique. And do you know what else impresses me? His mentality. Playing injured in a bowl game shows his character. That's what we need in Chicago. Players who give everything on every play, who put the team first. Now, I ask you this. Isn't it worth doing everything possible to get a player like this? Isn't this the kind of talent that could bring us back to the glory of the monsters of the Midway? Comment below. I want to know what you think. Should the Bears do whatever it takes to trade up in the draft and get Abdul Carter? How much would you be willing to give for him? Don't get me started on this, but I am going to start. Do you know what drives me crazy about this whole situation? That we all saw it coming. And let me tell you something about Roquan Smith. First team All-Pro, did you hear me? First team All-Pro. 154 tackles, 4 tackles for loss, 1.5 sacks. And do you know where he is now? In the playoffs with Baltimore. Meanwhile, what do we have? An empty space where one of our best defensive players used to be. And I ask you, Ryan Poles, what were you thinking? Not only did we let Smith go, but we made the situation worse. Do you want to talk about Chase Claypool? Oh, let's talk about Chase Claypool. 18 receptions. 18 in 10 games. Is this the return you wanted for an all-pro linebacker? It's like trading a Rolls-Royce for a used golf cart, and not even a good golf cart. Let me be completely honest here. This isn't just a mistake, it's a series of mistakes. First, you underestimate the value of an elite linebacker. Second, you trade him for picks. And third, and this is what kills me, you use those picks to get Claypool. It's like making a bad move and then doubling down on it. And here is the most painful part. Smith is shining in Baltimore. Not only is he shining, he's dominating. Meanwhile, Matt Eberflus, the man who supposedly couldn't use Smith in his system, where is he now? Exactly! Gone! I'll tell you something else. These kinds of decisions haunt a franchise. We're not talking about just any player, we're talking about a defensive leader, a player who was the 8th overall pick, someone who proved his value time and time again. And do you know what's worse? While Smith is preparing for the playoffs, we're here discussing another management mistake, and don't give me that hindsight is 20/20 stuff. Many of us warned about it at the time. Now, I ask you this. How much longer are we going to keep making these mistakes? How many more elite players are we going to let go? When will we learn that sometimes the best move is to keep what worked? Comment below. I want to know what you think. Was this Poles' worst move so far? How would you rate the Smith for Claypool trade on a scale from 1 to total disaster? Will we ever recover from this decision? Bears Nation. Today we have gone through some of the hottest news about our team together, and I want to hear your opinions on these crucial topics that will define the future of our franchise. Think about it. Could the combination of Monken and Williams be the magic formula to bring us back to glory? Would the possibility of having Abdul Carter on our defense justify sacrificing draft capital? And being honest, how much has the Smith for Claypool trade affected our rebuild? Bears family, this channel is our home, our meeting point where we share the passion for these colors. If you are not part of this community yet, this is your moment. Click that subscribe button, turn on the bell, and join the most passionate NFL family. Remember, your comments are the heart of this channel. Leave your opinions below, let's debate together and build the best Bears fan community on YouTube. Every like and comment makes us stronger. See you in the next video. Beer down!